In the pantheon of boxing greats, few names shine with the intensity of Oleksandr Usyk. This Ukrainian titan is not just a champion, he is an artist in the ring, a relentless strategist who has rewritten the history books. Who could possibly argue that Usyk is, as of today, the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world? He has achieved what only a handful of legends have managed, to fully unify two weight divisions, a monumental feat that places him among the all-time elite. He has toppled giants like Tyson Fury, twice tamed the beast Anthony Joshua, and dispatched young talents such as Daniel Dubois and the fearsome Murat Gassiev. And perhaps most astonishing of all, in every one of those battles, the Ukrainian cat emerged victorious, undefeated, unblemished. But make no mistake, a champion's career is no walk in the park. There are battles that leave scars, fights where victory is torn from the depths of the soul, bouts that take a fighter to the very gates of hell. And today, we are going to dive into one of those epic encounters. A fight many consider his most brutal, the one that brought him closest to defeat. His semi-final bout in the Muhammad Ali Trophy Tournament against Mairis Briedis. Get ready for a deep dive into the night that forged Usyk's legend. Grab your favorite drink and snack, because what follows may just be the most interesting thing you'll see today. Oleksandr Usyk entered the prestigious cruiserweight tournament, the World Boxing Super Series, WBSS, an event that promised to crown the best in the division, with the aura of being the heavy favorite, and with good reason. By 2017, Usyk was already the WBO cruiserweight champion and had amassed an impressive record of 12 wins and no defeats, with 10 of those victories coming by knockout. His pedigree was impeccable. Olympic gold medalist at London 2012, a refined talent who combined the footwork of a dancer with the punching power of a heavyweight. His southpaw style, ability to change angles, and relentless volume of punches made him a puzzle for any opponent. He passed the tournament's first stage with the elegance and dominance that have come to define him. His quarterfinal opponent was the experienced former world champion Marco Huck, a German warrior known for his toughness and rough fighting style. The bout, held in September 2017 in Berlin, was one-sided. Usyk, with his exquisite footwork and flurries of punches, dismantled Huck round after round, punishing his body and head with surgical precision.
The conference of Usyk gets back onto the front foot. Round of applause from his vocal support here. To the mark, and now beginning to bring uppercuts through the middle. Hook, miss, downstairs and upstairs from Alexander Usyk. What? By the man who resides here in Berlin. But again, look at that for spearing. Usyk, bobbing, weaving, working his way inside the distance. As Usyk gets onto the front foot, hook, back and hook. But back comes Usyk. It's coming from Alexander Usyk. Left hand success, and then a sneaking underhand left. Hook in real trouble, and then
Finally, in the 10th round, Usyk forced a stoppage, sending a brutally clear message to the rest of the contenders. The Ukrainian cat wasn't there to participate. He was there to conquer.
Effective defenses of Alexander Usyk caused many of the punches in that combination to cannon on immediately. Steps back into punching range, scores with the right hand upstairs, then working the body. Hook, bobbing and weaving once again, trying to fight his way off the ropes, but only totters across the boxing ring to take up residence on the ropes on the... Furious assault being launched by Alexander Usyk. Is he looking to finish it here? Hook trying to hold on. He's way out of the corner. Uppercut ripping through the middle. Robert Bird poised, taking a close look. His strength being put to the test. Usyk working away furiously. Shots underneath. Robert Bird has stepped in.
But the real test awaited him in the semifinals. On January 27, 2018, at the Riga Arena in Latvia, Usyk would face a rival cut from the same cloth, a mirror reflecting his own perfection, Mairis Briedis. Like Usyk, Briedis entered the bout undefeated. This wasn't just a fight for a spot in the final. It was a clash of the unbeaten, a head-on collision between two unstoppable forces who had never tasted defeat in the professional ring. The numbers spoke for themselves. Usyk, 13-0, 10 KOs, and Briedis, 23-0, 18 KOs. The stage was set for war. Does he have what it takes to keep climbing in the boxing world? Who was Mairis Briedis? He was no ordinary boxer. Before fully dedicating himself to boxing, Mairis served as a police officer in his hometown of Riga, the capital of Latvia. That life of discipline, order, and direct confrontation forged on the streets translated perfectly into his style in the ring. His professional career, spanning more than 8 years, was as flawless as Usyk's. 23 wins, no losses, with 18 of those victories coming by knockout. Briedis wasn't just a puncher, he was an intelligent, methodical boxer with notable victories over serious contenders. He had spectacularly knocked out former heavyweight world champion Manuel Char, dispatched a pure power puncher like Oleksandr Usyk, and, interestingly, had already defeated the same Marco Huck whom Usyk had beaten in the quarterfinals. In fact, it was precisely in that victory over Huck that Briedis claimed his WBC World Championship belt, the title he was putting on the line against Usyk. His experience in high-stakes fights and his ability to neutralize a wide range of styles made him a dangerous enigma. Despite his perfect record and fearsome knockout power, the odds makers and most boxing experts didn't see him as the favorite. The prevailing narrative was that Usyk, with his well-known advantages in speed, relentless footwork, and high punch output, would simply be too elusive and dominant for the Latvian. However, Mairis, a meticulous student of his opponent's style and with the undeniable advantage of fighting in his hometown in front of his own people, saw things very differently. He believed he had cracked Usyk's code, that he had found the keys to stop the cat. They would be making a huge mistake by underestimating him. This man was hungry for glory and victory. From the very first bell that echoed through the Riga arena, it became crystal clear that Oleksandr Usyk was in for an extremely tough night, a true trial by fire. Briedis, taking on the role of the first aggressor, refused to let Usyk dictate the pace with his usual constant movement. Instead, he showcased exceptional skill in cutting off the ring, blocking Usyk's escape routes and forcing him to fight in tighter angles.
From Briedis, but again Usyk, rapid right jab that is right at this. What an opening.
The Latvian, with astonishing tactical intelligence, compensated for Usyk's speed advantage with impeccable precision and perfect timing on his punches. Briedis operated with terrifying efficiency. Every punch he threw had intent and purpose. His shots carried weight, punches that echoed and left their mark, far more impactful than Usyk's early round strikes, which seemed more like scratches in comparison to Briedis' hammers. In the early rounds, Briedis landed a powerful left hand and a body hook that forced Usyk to retreat, a rare sight. The fight became a brutal, fast-paced chess match in motion.
In this second round, exchange of jabs to set up camp of a training camp. Good, one to the head, one to the body, back up between operators of the highest order.
Usyk danced, moved, and fired off quick 3- and 4-punch combinations. Briedis relentlessly chased him, cutting angles and waiting for the perfect moment to unleash his power. There were wild exchanges where both men landed significant shots. In one moment during the second round, the fighters accidentally clashed heads, opening a bleeding cut over Usyk's eye, a detail that added drama and urgency to the bout's narrative. Usyk rubbed his forehead, a clear sign that the fight was brutal and that the Latvian wasn't just absorbing punches, he was attacking and hurting.
Right jab once again, finished strong as Usyk scores with a terrific straight hand to the body. Oh, good right hitter. And he has used the United States of America. Such is the interest in this right hand to the body. Nice defensive maneuvers from him, but then a ground plants his feet and tries to force Briedis.
Briedis succeeded in making Usyk uncomfortable, something rarely seen, by raising the tempo and pushing him back with powerful combinations. Though Usyk tried to respond, Briedis' power seemed to surpass his at that point. The body shots from Briedis were particularly effective, aiming to sap the stamina of the elusive Usyk. The Latvian crowd roared with every blow from their hometown hero, fueling the warlike atmosphere. This fight is reaching its peak. Who will win? The crowd is on its feet, anxiously awaiting the victor.
That nose of the 5th round, he spits a fleck of blood.
Despite having absorbed plenty of punishing shots and dealing with the bleeding cut over his eye, Usyk, like the indomitable champion he is, managed to shift the tide in the second half of the fight. It was a true turning point. The Ukrainian cat fully unleashed his mastery of footwork, that elusive, deceptive dance that makes him so hard to hit. He began to pivot, spin, and glide in and out of Briedis' punching range with astonishing fluidity. At the same time, he dramatically increased his offensive output, throwing flurries of punches that, while not always as powerful as Briedis' shots, steadily piled up points and punished the Latvian's defense.
Even though he's more aggressive, Usyk still having success driving Briedis backwards, and he wrestles Usyk down. Good left. Both men still operating at an incredibly high level of skill and concentration, willingly conceding that this is the biggest left-hand success once again for the man from Ukraine.
Usyk took the lead, but to say he dominated would be an exaggeration. He was the first violin in the orchestra, setting the pace, constantly moving. But Briedis, showing the iron discipline worthy of his police background, stuck to his game plan to the letter, not deviating in the slightest. Despite fatigue, the Latvian kept stalking Usyk, patiently searching for an opening to land a decisive blow. As they approached the championship rounds, the final four, fatigue, that silent enemy, began to take its toll on Mairis Briedis. His pace slowed noticeably, and though his punches still carried power, they lost the sharpness and precision they had early on. Usyk, meanwhile, true to his reputation as a fighter who thrives in the later rounds, dramatically raised the tempo, punishing Briedis with numerous left crosses and body combinations that landed cleanly. It seemed the Ukrainian had finally seized full control of the fight.
Success in response from Usyk, just stands his ground momentarily, gets through the left wing and weaving, causing a lot of these shots to go over his shoulder. And remember, for some judges, and he's underway for large portions of this contest. Oh, Usyk said that he was aware of the responsibilities. He's still bobbing and weaving, still working that, continuing to work his way forwards. So became widely recognized.
However, the 12th and final round became yet another fiercely contested stanza. Briedis, digging deep and fueled by the deafening roar of his hometown crowd, gave everything he had left in those final minutes, throwing punches as if his life depended on it. Usyk, for his part, kept the pressure on as well, fully aware of how close the bout had been. Both fighters emptied their tanks, putting on a display of resilience and unwavering willpower that honored the sport of boxing.
Each man has gone the 12-round distance on 2 occasions. It looks as though we're heading for that juncture tonight. As Usyk, looking for something in this final round, gets through with a good left tuck up tightly behind high-held gloves, scores with a good sit to become the unified champion of the WBC and the WBO. Good right up until the final bell. What a fantastic contest we have just witnessed.
Given the incredibly tight nature of the fight, and especially the fact that it took place in Briedis' hometown of Riga Arena, there was no certainty that the result would favor the Ukrainian when the final bell rang. The tension was palpable. Fans on both sides held their breath, fully aware that the judge's decision could go either way, and that a hometown robbery wouldn't have been unthinkable. But fortunately, justice prevailed. The judges did not turn a blind eye or pretend they had watched a different fight. With their scorecards, they acknowledged Usyk's tenacity, activity, and technical superiority, awarding him a majority decision victory. 115 to 113, 115 to 113, and 114 to 114. It was a close verdict, but a fair one. That night, Usyk didn't just win a belt and a ticket to the final of the prestigious tournament. That night, Oleksandr Usyk further cemented his legend as an unbreakable warrior, capable of overcoming any adversity, even a nasty cut, and an opponent who pushed him to the absolute limit. It was the night when the Ukrainian cat proved that, even when scratched and bloodied, his undefeated spirit would never break. This was the fight that prepared him for the great battles that would come later, showing that his path to greatness would not be easy, but it would certainly be unforgettable. Friends, thank you for staying with us until the end of this deep dive into one of Oleksandr Usyk's most intense and revealing battles. If you enjoyed this story about how the cat faced his toughest test, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel. And for more exclusive content about the true warriors of the ring, check out the playlist or the next video below.